happening.
It's always Indian stretchable time. It's not Indian standard time. So yeah. I hope everybody's had their dinner. For you, it must be early snack time, right, Vikram?
Yes, I just so I work in Indian timing, so it's like always being on this. I don't know what way
Okay.
exactly. Yeah,
All
so
right.
it's little complicated to explain at times, but then yeah, this is snack time for me.
Okay. So you have the Indian time food and the Germany time food as well. So fair
No, I
enough.
generally have my time food. It's not even Indian. It has become horrible day by day, actually.
Okay.
But yeah, it's fun actually when you meet people of the community, when you see people around. It's a lot of fun. You enjoy that part. I think that's the
Cool.
most interesting one. Great. So I think hi everyone. Good evening. We won't wait for others to join whenever and however they wish. They can join in. Just a small request to all of you. I think Suresh out here has taken a lot of precious time of his to come all the way, and I think we can do a small help to support him along. That we can switch on our cameras to show him our pretty smiles, agar in case we have brushed. Otherwise, absolutely good. We take it as you say.
It doesn't
Yeah.
show, Vikram, if you've brushed or not on camera.
They will probably smile in the conversation. So there you go.
Okay. All right. So you know your team well now.
Great. So yeah, are we all here? Great. So as soon as more people join in, happy to have them. Great. So welcoming once again officially Mr. Suresh Ramdas along with us. Um, as I speak, it would be less to speak about him. One, why do I say that? A lot of people might know him with a lot of things. One thing which I personally feel when I got in contact with him was that certainly he's a lovely guy whom you can always look up to, very helpful for sure, and has been always active in a lot of activities, what you see all across happening for the LGBTQ community, supporting them here and there. And officially, he works as, if I'm not mistaken, he is a veteran in his own field, coming from trainings. And when it comes to trainings, right now, Suresh is working in the capacity of uh, head for training, if I'm not wrong, Suresh. Correct
Not
me.
yet. Not yet. Global training lead.
Global training lead for HP. I'm
Yes.
sure a lot of you know HP and what HP does. So I don't think HP needs any introduction. And there is where Suresh comes with so many years of experience, more than I think 16 years of experience now, 16 plus. And this is what you all can learn from him. A lot of professional learning, corporate learning, and also nothing very major topic why we have gathered here is the LGBTQ community, a little bit about more about Pride Month and your questions, your things, and certainly Suresh journey and stories, which could be a lot of learnings for you all. Certainly coming from his personal life, coming from his professional life, which could be really interesting, I believe, because experiences that what matters in the time. Great. Um, Suresh, so just a small beginning. Maybe I am not the right person to introduce you, but yes, I would love that if you give a brief about yourself to
Well, that.
everyone.
All right. Thank you so much, Vikram, for allowing me to be a narcissist to talk about myself. But hello, everyone. Yes, my name is Suresh Ramdas. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I'm an out and proud gay man in India. And I've been working with HP, which is Hewlett Packard or HP Inc. Sorry, not Hindustan Petroleum. I know. So I wanted to pull that off. When Vikram was saying, "Oh, HP, everybody knows HP," I was like, "Hold on, let me throw this curveball and see how many people catch that." So I've been with this organization for 16 plus years. It's going to be 17 in August, and like he said, I am part of the global training team. So I have two jobs at HP, is how I'd like to go ahead and say. One is my day job, where he's mentioned, I'm global training lead, and I have a gay job, so which is leading the LGBT chapter for HP India, and part of the diversity, equity, and inclusion team for India as well. So there's a lot of passion, a lot of work that I do to commit on inclusion at workplace. So I do have conversations with a lot of other organizations to really, set the bar or set the stage for inclusion and overall, but I'm more specific on LGBTQ and the intersectionality that really comes in with that. And I personally want to champion trans inclusion, trans rights at the corporate spaces. So work with a lot of organizations locally and internationally as well to, bring more visibility and conversation of how can transgender community people be, included in the society, because all this while they have been excluded and not included. So how can we do that? I also speak a lot on mental health for the LGBTQ plus community people, along with HIV and drug abuse as well. So that's a small little intro about myself.
Okay. So before we begin further down, I really do not want to miss this interesting conversation. So I hope I have the permission for everyone around here to record the session so that we can always have some beautiful pictures across. So you will all have to maybe accept it. I just forgot in the beginning, but Google the Lady Beautiful always informs us this meeting is being recorded. Any of that. So, Suresh, I am not sure how many of us here do understand and how do we take it. What do you really mean when we say about you take care of inclusion exactly? So, what does that mean?
So the word inclusion is also going ahead and saying include, right? So it's just trying to
Right.
bring people together, and irrespective of who you are, right? So where you're from. Now, from a broader perspective, if I have to say inclusion, India is a very diverse, but are we really inclusive? Right. So let me question that.
Right.
Do you include everybody in all your conversations? If I have to break it down further, in a place that we are in a patriarchal society, right? So do we allow new ideas, different identities to speak up and have their voice on the table?
Correct. Correct. How
So
much I understand from inclusion coming from a human resource background, also, I feel that's more of a perspective to create gender diversity. Also, would that also come in inclusion?
in, inclusion is about everything. It's about gender, it's about persons with disability, it is about LGBTQ plus community, it is also about mental health conversations, it is also about armed forces. I'm talking specifically from a corporate perspective, what
Correct.
inclusion really means. um, Inclusion also really means, the fact that are we including people from outside the community? If we are based out in Karnataka, for example, how inclusive are we
Mhm.
to, get other people from outside the states feel accepted, feel welcomed? So that is
Correct.
inclusion, right? So if I have to talk about, again, specific on language, if a majority speaking language community, how much do they welcome, the minority groups, when they are having a conversation? If it's a Hindi speaking group, if there is somebody coming from West Bengal and somebody coming from Gujarat or somebody coming from Tamil Nadu, how inclusive do we really become when we are having a conversation? Do we go into a language which is neutral where everybody can speak, right? So which is again English. So does everybody get into an English conversation saying that, all right, we have people from across who do not understand Hindi, so can we, speak in English? So that is the conversation of inclusion overall.
Correct. Correct. So Suresh, what the first thing comes to my mind also is when you said that, okay, so I represent the LGBTQ community. Do you, and this is overall, like this month, I am not a very ardent believer that there should be a month to celebrate something. Why not the entire year? Like
Mhm.
there is only Diwali on one day and there is Diwali or birthday on one day. Why? Why do you have to celebrate your birthday? Or I think you're born every day. So why this particular month to celebrate a particular thing? Why not the entire year?
We would love for it to be the entire year, but June has a significance, and it has stemmed from US. So what happened in US in the month of June is exactly on June 28th, I think 1939, in a small little dingy, cozy little gay bar. That time it was a gay bar where called the Stonewall Inn, right? The cops just came in and they just threw people away, for a fact that yes, there were a lot of representation as well there. There were a lot of drag queens, cross dressers who were there, and they just, shook them off. They threw them off. I think that was just the start of a big movement. And that kind of became a riot sort of thing where people from the community really came in and they were like, how can you really do this? It was chaos, it was mayhem out there. And that turned into a protest. And the year next after that is when they said, you know what? We want to be visible. We want to go ahead and show that we are very much there and we are not going anywhere. So every year that group grew big and big, and then a lot of people across the states really took that conversation and they said, hey, you know what, this is a month where we're going to really celebrate us and also bring awareness about the community. So then it became a global phenomenon. Why did it become a global phenomenon? Is with globalization, we had a lot of companies from the US who are based out in the US have their branches in various countries, and that's how
Mhm.
this has kind of become a global Pride Month conversation. So a riot was started is now an opportunity for people from the community to celebrate who they are, and at the same time bring more awareness and sensitization to the larger community or the straight community, and bring in more allies so that they can really have conversations on behalf of us, because we are minorities, right? We're just like 10 to 12% of the population ovary globally as well. We exist and we are nowhere going to be diminished in any form. So but then we still need that support and encouragement, so we need the straight allies to come out there and show their support.
Very true. Very true. And I think every community is a big part of every community. So
Yes.
our community itself, we have people who do not speak Hindi at all, and I think we take care of that as well. So that's quite important. Um, Coming up to the stories where you said this is what the story of LGBTQ community like bloomed from. What was your story altogether? If you would love to share, how did
Hmm.
you? Because I think especially you being born and brought up in, and I'm sure Karnataka, Bangalore, Kerala, and all these southern areas are still more, I think, this is just me. So this is just a very personal perspective. They're more open in certain things. And I am not sure. I think as in India as a country, it's more a taboo sort of thing, which I have seen and I have faced across. And I'm sure people over here would have more questions and things to ask you. But what was your story? What were your challenges altogether in this entire journey?
So my journey has been a bit crazy in its own ways, but also at the same time, it it hasn't been really that tough from my perspective. Maybe I'm going to get to share a lot more, from you all later. I was born in typical South Indian Tamilian family. My parents had two kids, and I'm the second. And there was absolutely no differentiation between the first and the second born. But yes, I was spoiled more. And second borns are always the best. The first ones are like, yeah, whatever. That's how I'd like to always go ahead and say that. So I had, with that conversation or with that statement itself, you can really understand how much I was loved and how much I was really taken care of. But I think all the other conversations really came about, or the differentiation really came about, was when I started going to school. When I was a kid, that's okay. I think people really didn't understand and really didn't process a lot of things. But when you really start having brains, is what I would say, or probably having senses, it was not great. For me, I was getting called out because I did not fit the stereotype of a kid in a school, how they have to behave. So you can imagine the stereotypes that are really getting generated from a very young age. And I didn't fit that stereotype. The reason being I was effeminate. My mannerisms and behaviors were quite feminine. And I was getting called out as to why is Suresh walking like that? Why is Suresh swaying his hands a lot and speaking a lot in a very, colorful way is what I would say. And to top it off, I was a little soft spoken and I didn't like to get into anything, which was rough and tough sort of conversations or even, sports as well. So I was called names like Sissy, Hijra, Chakka, because that was the kind of, thought process that really went through a lot of people. And that's what were the names given at that point in time. So I was called that. And I had another complex issue as well, which was my color. My skin color was also being called out. And I was one of the few dark boys in the class. And I think that just got added on. Because hey, you know what? He's anyways sissy, he's anyways girly, now let's call on for his skin color as well. And that kind of gives everybody a whole package to really start bullying. And that's where it really started with bullying, calling names and annoying me, making me feel frustrated and definitely not feel belonged. There have been happy moments, I must say that. It's not that it's been only dark and really crazy. There have been some happy moments, but I think when I see the overall picture, it has been a lot more sad. And I must say this as a trigger warning. It is very important. The next few statements that I'm going to say, if it does trigger you on suicide, then please drop off and join in after 5 minutes. The reason being, it went on for a very long time that I just wanted it to end because this was no fault of mine. I was not harming anybody else. I was just being called every day, day in and day out. And there wasn't a happy space for me at that point in time. So I said, you know what, let's put an end to it, because why to go through all of this crap for no fault of mine? And during that period, I was very angry. I was a God-fearing person, like you're very religious in your thought process and all. And I was like, every time I used to look up, I used to like, why me? What the hell did I do to deserve this? And there was at one point in time when I tried the third time, something deep within me really kind of said, hey, you know what, Suresh, hold on, don't really, why are you doing this? Then it dawned upon me, because I studied also in an English convent school at that point in time. So, Jesus and the Bible and all of that were thrown around. And it came to me at that point in time saying that, Suresh, maybe you're God's favorite child. Because Jesus was put to test and see what happened to him, but he was God's favorite child while he was taking the sins of everybody else and cleaning the sins up. I was like, oh my God, I don't think so. I am that. But at that moment, to stop me from doing something stupid for me at that point in time, that was the thoughts that came in and said, no, Suresh, hold on. You really need to just keep going. There is something in there store for you in the long run. Maybe you don't get it right now. You will get it later. But for now, just keep going and you will find your way.
You know,
And that's when
Suresh,
I,
this actually makes me think when you talk that we all get bullied, and I can so much connect to some things because we not being that manly figure, not playing sports, and people bullying us always comes to. And I have gone through myself through those areas where people call you like this or that, and I'm not sure why. And this also makes me feel question you here, what made you like keep going, because you really wanted to give it a
yeah,
all that day, but then
that's why I said, I think something deep within me just kind of, shouted out and said, Suresh, stop, don't do this.
but
And
you could have made this decision also that time, like, oh no, let's just. And there are people out there who might
yeah,
make these kind of bad decisions also.
well, I don't know, maybe there is something really meant for me. It just put a full stop and, said, Suresh, stop, don't really think about this. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? You have a family, you have your parents who love you. I think I still don't know what was the reason which stopped me, but this was something that kind of told me that, maybe you're God's favorite child and you need to endure this. And can you keep pushing yourself further? Um, and I kept pushing myself further, is what I would say. It's not that the bullying or the name calling didn't stop, it
Yeah.
continued. I think I just got numb to it. Or I said,
But
you know what,
is this the
give it
best
on.
method, that you just like get numb to it, to things like people, and
Um,
especially bullying happens all the time in colleges, schools, and especially I think in Indian, and I have seen in Germany also, like wherever you go, amongst the youth there is.
mhm,
But
yes.
do you think there is a specific way people can really save themselves out of all this, or maybe
Well,
help themselves into bullying especially?
it depends because there are certain aspects that I even did, be it getting into sports, be it getting into actually having physical fist fights. I did get into that because I had to get my frustration out somewhere or the other when I decided I'm not going to end my life, right? So uh, I started playing single sports, right? I really got myself into playing tennis. I think that was one way for me to get my steam off, right? No matter what happens, because I had to keep going and I could not go with a lot of anger in me. So I kind of took it out on the court and I used to scream, yell, hit hard, you know, at times think of, my bully as the opponent as well and really kind of, play my game a lot more better. Those were some of my mechanisms and actually get into fist fights in school, which was not a good thing, but it kind of kept people away at a
And is
distance from
this
me.
is this how you pick up your gym thing now? What you,
Jim Tim came in for another reason. That
I
Jim
think
came
if
in
nobody
for.
knows, Suresh is a big day physical fitness freak, I could say, which I'm not certainly, but yeah.
No, I think that really came in for another reason altogether. How can I help people from getting bullied or getting into any trouble? So if I have a physique, because I'm 5'11", I'm not the typical Indian boy, like because I'm bald at a very young age. And if I'm physically more fit, I'm taller, then, people do get intimidated by that, right? So another purpose, yes, there was definitely you need limelight. I like to show off a little bit and experience that, mushiness coming towards me. But it was more for how can I help people because There was a time when I was skinny and I was thin, but I wanted to help, but I just couldn't because the other person out there was, a lot more powerful than me. So how could I make myself powerful was one of the reasons why, fitness really kicked in, and I wanted to do that so that, moment I just stand there and yell at somebody, then, they should probably shit bricks. Right. So that was my idea of getting to fitness as well, and definitely being healthy and having my longevity and all of that kind of comes in. But I think core issue when you touched upon, especially when you brought these two together, I think it just made me realize that yes, it is the purpose of trying to, help somebody else in the time of need when I didn't have anybody.
Mm, mm. And when was the time you really came out, or and how was the reaction when you like sent that
Uh,
video?
my coming out has been, I've been coming out a lot of times, but I think I'm going to go ahead and say with the fact that I came out to myself first when I was in college, because until then I didn't have internet, no representation, no information about queer history or queer culture or homosexuality as such. So for me, it was all new and I really didn't know. I think it was in my first year or second year of college when I came out to myself when I was going on my way back to the hostel room is when I said, Suresh, you are gay. And I said, yes, I'm gay. And I felt so nice. I felt so happy. I felt so light and relieved that, what, you're able to identify, you're able to understand with all that cloudiness that I was running around in my head all these years, saying that who you are, who am I? I was able to answer that day, and I felt really happy. So that was my coming out to myself, and subsequently, I came out to my best friend. I was fortunate enough to, have him accept me for who I am, and we've been friends since then. We're like what 20, 22 years of friendship and all of that. Um, But I think the next big coming out was with my parents.
Oh,
And that's, not an easy one because you know how Indian parents are,
I can
it take,
totally understand. I just I played a prank so on someone very close, and I said, I'm gay, and I was like tortured for another 1 hour thinking of that Indian mentality maybe, and like I don't want to. I am myself coming from the same country, and I think they said, oh, this is a disease. I was like, what? Are you
yeah.
serious? So
Well,
yeah.
my parents didn't really say that, but I think I had a different story altogether. But I think before that, I had made certain choices. I'd made certain decisions, is what I would say, not choices. Um, I knew by that time my parents were starting to look for girls. I told them, you know what, I don't want to get married. This is not me. And parents were like, no, beta, you can't shrug responsibility. You have to get married. You'll have to have kids and you have to take care, like, take your family generation forward. I'm like, okay, fair enough, whatever you say, because by that time I knew I was 200,000% gay. I was very much into men. I had no inclination whatsoever towards women physically or even the intimate part. I can be a girl's best friend and chuddy buddy and all of that, hang around, but sexually zilch. So when I knew that, why should I go ahead and, screw up? I wanted to say something else, but I just realized it's going live and it's recorded. So why should I screw up a girl's life for no fault of hers when we are in a society which is so patriarchal? A guy gets to make the decision while girl doesn't do make to get a decision during, in the conversation of marriage. And if I could say no, then the girl's life is saved. Maybe somebody else will marry her for who she is, love her for who she is. Even if I get married, I can't really love her. It will be all fake, and everything is going to be fake. Then that kind of really results in another kind of psychology because women are always made to feel bad that you are not worth enough for your husband to be falling in love with you, right? I didn't want that because I knew what my parents, brought me up with. But finally, they found a girl after so many rejections, after so many years. They're like, "Nahi beta, chinta mat karo, tere liye ek hai karke." Like Sorry, I
Oh,
just said that in Hindi, but then yeah, they're like, you have one person in this world who's made for you. You know, she's born for you and all that jazz. And I was like, fine, I think it's time for me to come out, and there's no other choice. So I came out to my parents. It was not an easy thing. They were angry, they were frustrated, they were upset, they were annoyed, they were worried, all the emotions possible. You could just see that going like, a seesaw. But I held ground because I think that was what was very important and necessary. I was very assertive. I was never aggressive or angry with my parents because I knew where they're coming from. So at one point, I also told my parents, you know what, if you want me to get married, I will get married for your happiness. Will I be happy? Definitely not, because I know who I am. My parents were like, why? I said, it just really doesn't work that way. And you taught me to be honest. You taught me to be truthful. So I used that reverse psychology back on them. They tried it on me. Oh, nahi beta, I will die if you don't get married. What will society say? I'm like, I'm not going to budge and fall for it. If you had to die, you would die. I said that in my head. I didn't say that, out loud to them. But I kind of tried the reverse psychology back on them, saying that you taught me with the good values. You told me to be honest. You told me to be truthful. I'm telling you the truth now. I know it's
this is
difficult to
what this is
digest.
what you get when you are a training lead.
Exactly. By that time, I was also growing better in work and all of that, right? So I did learn the
Yeah,
tricks of the
you were
trade.
you were learning the psychological tricks.
Exactly right. So I used that. And then I also told them this, you know what? You want me to get married for your happiness? I will do that. I'm ready to sacrifice maybe 20, 30 years of my life for your happiness. I will do it. But after you're gone, who am I answerable to? Nobody, because I did this for your happiness. Y'all are not there. So my happiness is like, I'm going to take over my happiness. I will divorce my wife, do whatever is required for her, and I will live my life then, no matter how old I get. And that shocked them. They were like, whoa, did you really think about all of this? Was running in their mind. So you really thought through this. And I was telling my parents, yes, I've thought through this. Then they are more concerned about who's going to take care of you, because that's Indian mentality. Like, wife takes care of the husband no matter how shitty and crappy he is,
Yeah.
right? But that's the whole notion and the mindset that has been set. And I was like, they are like, Suresh, who's going to take care of you after we are gone? I said, I can handle myself. That's not a big deal. So that was my coming out story to my parents. It kind of went on for close to 3 months of drama, of crying, getting upset, not eating, and banging the door and getting out, all of that. But then at the end, I think the feeling that I had, that I don't have to be scared at all anymore towards anyone, because nobody can threaten me that I'm going to go tell your parents that you are gay, because I was hanging, that knife was hanging by my head. So I said, now I don't need to. And then was the big flurry moment, or the biggest moment of the third biggest moment of my life, was I came out to everybody through a Facebook live event. And that was me after attending my first Pride gay parade in Bangalore in 2014 of November. So I went, I attended, and I said, you know what, this is who I am, and I give a rat's ass to anybody who has anything else to think about me. And this also was at the time when I was still called a criminal by the Constitution, I mean, by the law, which is Section 377. I was still called a criminal. I said, you know what, let's go on with it. I need to live my life, and I have this just one life. I want to make it worth it. So come what may, whatever difficulties are going to happen, I'm going to get through with that. I That's why I said I've been very on privileged enough to have a set of people who did not openly confront homophobia, because maybe by that time I was already doing well in my organization, and I had a certain level of respect. I commanded respect as well with the work that I did. So maybe people really didn't want to oppose me in any form because I was, a person who would not take crap. You give me crap, maybe you'll get it twice or thrice that much back to you. But I made sense. It was not that I just blabber for the sake of blabbering. So a lot of people really didn't want to come out and oppose me, but I knew a lot of bitching happened behind my back, and people called me names and said, "Oh my God, what is this guy doing? It's against," and all of that. But nobody confronted to me. So I said, I'm not going to be bothered about what people are talking behind my back. And that's why they're behind my back. They're not in the front because they don't have the balls to talk to me about that. So I never gave that much of heat to it. And I said, you know what? This is my new leash in life. I have this fabulous looking path in front of me. I'm just going to walk forward. Whoever comes along with me, more than welcome. If you don't, it's your loss of of not having an amazing person like me in your life. And you made the choice of losing me. Absolutely fine. And I went on with that attitude. I think that really changed a lot of perspective. I think, when I was a kid, I could really sense my confidence was minus 1,000 or something. But after coming out, I think just leashed a complete new version of me where I've seen some of my colleagues. So we still colleagues and friends, we become family. And they could really see, oh my God, Suresh, from where you were, because I was in the closet for 10 years of my work life. 10 years, because I didn't want my private life to be combining with my professional life. And I was scared. Is it going to affect my career, my promotion, my status with the people, my respect that I've really slowly earned for it? Is that going to come crashing down just because I like men or I like the same gender? So I kept that in the closet. And all of this, after coming out to my parents, just said, you know what? I don't give a damn about all of this. If I need to find a new job, I will find a new job. If I need to find something new, I'm going to go do that. But this is not something that I'm going to compromise on anymore. That took a different turn. And trust me, I went with that leap of faith. And yeah, I mean, I've been soaring high ever since, touch wood. I would just say there have been people who have tried to, pull me down. I can very confidently say I'm still seeing them. They are down below me, and I'm soaring up. So be it, because my intent is good. I know that my intent is not to hurt anybody, and it's never been there that ways. I only want to do good for somebody else. So that put that together is what I think my story to an extent is. Yeah.
But Suresh, do you know one thing which I totally believe that we all go through a lot, and we just don't have that rat ass confidence, what you call it, and we just go bang on. We say, "Yeah, nahi hoga. I won't do this," and I think whatever it might not be just confronting that I'm gay or something, but for any version of your life, whether it's standing up for yourself, standing up for your, because in fact, if you see today's topic, it's all about taking pride in one's individuality. And one individuality could be anything. It could be being
Yeah.
a gay, being, I don't know, just
Straight.
being
Yes.
soft, straight, anything. But taking that stand, I don't know. How do you think one can actually inculcate that decision making process which says, no, that's it, and I am there?
One thing I would just tell people is that it's your life. That's what it needs to be. Do you want to live somebody else's life through your way, or you want to live your way? Because, when you get that sort of understanding wrapped around in your head, you don't need to be different. I think, we need to remove this word different when it comes to context of human beings. Why are you different? That doesn't mean that, it kind of simply means that you have to be like everybody else. But you're not. Everybody is unique. Every person who is here listening is a unique person. I give this example when majority of the people, when they're 5 fingers, majority again, keep this in mind. We need to be inclusive of persons with disabilities or probably people who do not have fingers, right? Or even hand. Now, when majority of the people have 5 fingers in their hand and they're not the same, how can you expect people to be the same? It is never possible that you can have people be the same. Even twins are not the same. They look identical, but the way they think, their thought process are all still different, right? Every human being is unique. When we understand that and when we start tapping into that uniqueness that we have, not by what the society has built you around, what is it that you have? Everybody can answer that because it takes time though, because we are so wrapped up and we are bubble wrapped and we are cemented with all the crappy beliefs that we are supposed to be somebody else. When you unravel that, and you will find that essence of who you really are. And when you find that, nothing of this matters. But it takes time because right from childhood, right from the time that we've been holding the pinky hand of our parents, of our father and mother, they have taught us the way they wanted their child to be. Society has taught you the way the society wants to raise, or you as a person needs to be in the society. But as an individual, where is that individuality of every person that has not been nurtured all the time? Every time you want to take a risk because you love taking risks, but people around you say, "Oh, why are you taking risk? It's not good." Society is kind of, scaring the shit out of you to say, "Don't take risks." But as your gut feeling, that's what they say, gut feeling. There's something deep within you that talks to you and tells you, you know what, go for it. This is who you are. Listen to that. We've lost connection to ourselves now. We are so much focused on the number of likes, the number of people following, and what do they say about me, and how do I go about it. Again, we are losing our individuality there. So if you start really unraveling that, irrespective, when you are a human being, that's the only essence. And then you need to find that who you are, and then you can get going from there. I hope that answers, Vikram. I know I
Yeah,
get
it
very
does.
philosophical.
No, it does. Actually, okay, let me tell you very straightforward on this. I say everyone that I realized it in my age of 29 now that roti, kapda, makan. These are the three things like house, food, and your clothes. I should not say this, but nobody else is bothered apart from you and majorly your parents, maximum. And so, if nobody is going to earn it for you, why the shit you should care a shit about them? So just chuck it. Doesn't matter what do they think, because a lot of students generally ask, "Oh, I'll be judged. I'll be looked at this way or that way." Just
You will be judged any which ways. So why not being judged by the way you want to drive the conversation? So today I'm definitely sure to be judged, right? But I give that liberty and opportunity for everybody to judge me. But this is my way. You judge me for who I am, not for being somebody else. I'm fine with that. And it is a perspective. When people say that they judge you, it is their perception about another person, right? It is
I think
not the other person.
when people are not able to do something, they start judging you because they don't have anything to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that they don't have anything to do, but they also, you know, find something that is missing in them, which they see in somebody, and they are not able to connect. That's where homophobia stems also from. You are scared of something. And when you see somebody else enjoying it, passionately and sincerely, you're jealous.
That's so true.
Think about it. Think
I,
about it, the times when you are jealous of something, of your friend. Jealousy comes from a place where when you don't have it and somebody else has it. Where is phobia coming from? This fear of doing something that you're not used to or you've never gone through. And homophobia is from that place as well. You're scared. Oh my God, I see somebody else. Is that because of that somebody else, am I going to get labeled? Right? You're scared. When you are sure of who you are and you flaunt your, your identity for who you are you going to even be pulling somebody else down or picking on somebody else, or are you going to just be motivating somebody else? Think about that. When you are satisfied, you never try to find fault with other people. When you're not satisfied, you start doing things which are not right. Think about it. I mean, it's got a lot of deep meaning, but when you really think through this jealousy, homophobia stems from that place. And majority of the homophobes are closeted homosexuals or from the LGBTQ plus community. Go back and think. I mean, I'll give you an example. The Pulse Orlando, the Pulse bar that was being gunned down by a person, homophobic. But when things came out, he was a closeted homosexual. Because you can't stand somebody else enjoying the freedom, what you really want to do and be. I'm for sure Ranveer Singh has absolutely no issues or no qualms in, having another friend who is homosexual. Because he's like, I know who I am. Go back to some of your, allies. The other ones also. Let me touch upon that. Allies are absolutely comfortable in their own skin. They know who they are. And when they find that somebody else is not able to get what they deserve is when the whole allyship comes into picture. They fight for your rights and they go on with all the conversations. Sorry, I just realized, wow, I've spoke for 15 minutes.
Okay.
Sorry.
Looking at that 50
Yeah.
minutes time interval, let's call for questions.
Yes.
If you guys might have. So
yeah, I hope I didn't put a lot of people to sleep at around 9:50 in the night.
So Parth, go ahead.
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes. I was asking for like you said we are judged for everything in our life. Like it could be like a sexuality, or it could be a financial, or it could be a personal life. So how you manage these judgments? Like someone judges you that you're gay, or someone judges you like you are not that capable of earning big packages, and something like that also. So how you handle these judgments, because we live for judgments. I learned from my father, like when we get born, we were born, we get judged on the spot that he is a little black, he is a little white, he is a little fair. So we judge on the spot when we are
Yeah.
born. Yes. So how you handle these judgments of yours, or if you see them judging any people, how you handle them?
For me, I think when people used to judge me before to now, I think there's a sea difference. Like I'm completely opposite right now. When people judge me, I'm like, okay, is there something that I can benefit from that judgment? Something that I can take in a positive way to, make myself look better or be better. Physically, people say, oh my God, Suresh, you have to be Gora, then only you're going to look great. I cannot do anything about that, can I? I mean, until unless I, have to peel myself and skin myself out, or, that also not going to happen. Is that beneficial for me? If it's not, then chuck it. If it's like, Suresh, hey, you know what? When you're having these conversations, I think you're a little too rude. Can you tone down and speak a little more mellow? Then you will not be judged as a very rude person. That's a good point. Hey, let me look at that. And can I mellow down? Can I speak something better? Can I, add some humor to it? And then let me reflect. Is that helping me become a better person? that you are the best judge for it, right? If you know that this is going to make me, a better person, do it. If it's not, ask them to take it, string it up, and stick it up where sun don't shine.
Thank you.
No problem. Yeah, we have Disha.
Yeah, hello, sir.
Hello. And before that, hold on. Yeah, I need to tell people I'm officially not knighted by the Queen of England. So please do not call me sir. You can call me Suresh.
That's so right.
Yeah, I would love to get knighted by the Queen, but there's a long time to go for that.
I don't know. We are not coming out of that culture of sir and ma'am somehow.
Yeah, because Britishers sat with us 200 years and they dictated a lot of terms. So it is tough for us to lose that. Yeah, sorry, Disha, go on. Sorry. Yeah.
So basically, I love to watch shows and movies. And sometimes when I see any LGBTQ character, I get somewhat disturbed. Why are they showing him in a feminine way? He's just a human. Why can't they show him like any other else in Schitt's Creek or in Sex Education or in any other show? Whereas in some shows they are shown as normal peoples. In Brooklyn Nine-Nine, there is a couple, and they are shown like just everybody else. But I don't understand why this stigma rises from there, that if he is a man and he is doing feminine things, and or if he's a girl or doing masculine thing, then we have to label them with these things.
Well, it was labeled. That's why we're trying to remove that label. Now, there is, again, why do we need to label? Yeah, we're trying to bring out or come out of labels, but right now for the LGBTQ plus community, we need to put those labels because a lot of people are able to identify with and they find some peace. Because right now, what you said, normal, what is normal? I don't know. Because your normality can be different from mine as well, right? For me, Schitt's Creek is an amazing show. Oh my God, I can so resemble David in any form with the attitude, with the sass that he carries on. And for me, that's normal. And I don't feel bad because that is representation. And yes, we do have men who are effeminate. We have women who are very manly, but who decides on that? What is manly? What is feminine? Femininity, masculinity, who defines that? Can you tell me one person who is 100% masculine in this world? One person who is 2000% feminine.
Can I say something?
Yes, Parth.
We can see our stars also wearing the stuff like lady stuff like jewelry, or it could be rings.
Hold on. Sorry, I'm going to stop you there, Parth.
Yeah.
Jewelry was always worn by everybody. Go back to our history. Our kings and queens. Kings wore more jewelry than queens. They had the mukut. They had those big things, jewelry. So who wore them? What went out of fashion? So
now we are judged na, that we are wearing jewelry. So
yes.
You are behaving like feminine. So
actually, my question was around this only, that why do we put them like this? Let them do what they want to do.
Exactly right. But then that has been, if I have to go back, I know I just have 2 minutes, but I really want to talk a little bit about history. India was very, very fluid. If you go back and look, go to some of our, museums, go to some of our temples, these historic sculptural places. Look at them. Men, women, apart from their physical bodily aspects, everybody has jewelry, everybody has a mukut, everybody wears some lovely, amazing silk, gold threaded attire. Then came the whites, stayed around with us for 200 years. made us feel shitty for ourselves. We at times hate to say when we see another Indian, and if they don't fit the category of being elite or classy, we say, oh my God. If somebody does not speak good English in India, do we really categorize them as good, or he's not good, he's not worth it? But he is being true to his language by calling out and saying, English in the language of his mother tongue. Who brought in this whole crappy identity of mother tongue influence when we speak English? The French butcher English, but when they speak it with a French accent, and nobody dares to call them out. If they call them out, they say, the third finger of my hand is for you, right? So they made us feel crappy. Yes, they have done some great things on invention and system and all of that stuff, but they made us feel crappy about ourselves. And we are out here looking for that acceptance from people from outside. Today, even a Firang man walks around. Look at the amount of people who are wanting to impress him. But when we go there, do anybody does impress? Nah. Right? So they have ingrained so much of crap into our system that we need to unlearn. It is a long process. We've not thought about it. We were told not to think about it. And that's where the fairer sex really came in, with the skin tone. We are a land of beige and brown, 70% of us. If you really think about it, fairness never came from within India. Britishers came and they brought that as an elite class, and everybody fell for that. We're still falling for it. We need to unlearn that. Only when we unlearn that, with all these things really come in. We are ashamed to wear. How many of them are ashamed to call out and say, I wear dhoti at home, I wear panche at home, I wear my traditional attire. Traditional attire is only for special events. But you're still supposed to come in a damn shirt and a pants and a trouser. Women in business suits, right? Okay, I know I've jumped off. Sorry about that. I hope there is time. I don't know.
Yeah. Yash, go ahead, ask your question.
Yeah.
Hi, Suresh.
Yes.
Yeah. My question is how you let put to end your fears and your scariness, whatever it is. So how do you do it? Means it's not just you are saying let put it to end and it happens on one day. Means what is the process? I wanted to know the process.
I'm still shit scared and sort of a lot of things. It's not that I'm not scared.
Yeah.
I'm still scared of a lot of things, but it's a gradual process. And I mean, it's not really easy to say that, I mean, you just prioritize what is really important at that point in time. I mean, I'm giving this session, no matter if it's for the 10th time or not, but I still sweat underneath and I'm like, oh my God, is this going well? Is it not? There is this constant fear, but I don't let the fear overpower me. I need to have it so that it keeps me alert, but not so much that it just takes over and messes up everything. Right? So for that, you just need to be comfortable in the content, in who you are, and the fear of getting judged, right? Like how Yash put it, not Yash, it was Yash or Parth put it, you always are getting the fear of being judged, right from childhood, and you want to look up to something. Forget about that. When you stop that expectation of getting judged by somebody else, it takes its own different path. And we Indians, I'll be very honest, are always, brought up in this fear that somebody else is judging you. Right? If you go abroad, people are going to say crap. People are going to say things, do things, not for the fear of being judged. Yes, they do get judged, but do they give a damn about it? No, you watched in movies. I'm for sure, at a later point in time, you will have Vikram share some nice stories as well, why he's in Germany and what people do after they're drunk or when they're not drunk, and they're, allowed to express their mind. correct? Because that's how
can I
they've been
quickly
taught.
add something?
Yes.
Actually, I think, sorry if anybody listening anywhere out in this world is German, so I'm sorry to say, but Germans might not sound like what they sound or what they seem like after drinking couple of
Yeah.
beers, and they are the best people then to talk to. Like in this entire world, they'll dance like crazy. They'll do
Oh,
amazing
yeah.
stuff.
You haven't met Australians then. Yeah, you more fun.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. All right. Yes. Anybody? I hope that answers your question, Yash. Sorry. Does
Yes,
that?
sir. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Perfect.
Okay.
Anybody else? Oh wow, we have
We have a
two.
lot.
Good evening,
Uh,
Suresh.
Yes.
I'm glad to have you one of the mentors for tonight's session. I can see a beautiful flag behind you. Can you please
Yes.
justify that so many colors on that one particular flag? What does colorful flag signify?
Okay. So okay, I'll go from here. So the left side, you have, it's the rainbow spectrum, which has love, harmony. Don't ask me the pattern or the way. I would ask you to go do your homework, do a Google search. But this is the gay community flag, which is all the 7 colors, while you see here the white, pink, yellow is the transgender community flag, while black and brown is for the black community, which is the African American or the African community overall, and brown is for Asians and all of them. So we wanted to represent everybody in one flag, and this is called the progressive flag. What does each color mean? Please do the homework.
Sure, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Anybody has a short question? I mean, short answered question that you think I'm going to give?
Okay, let's play Inky Pinky Ponky. Huh? Who
Okay.
gets the chance? 1, 2, 3. Inky Pinky Ponky.
Father had a donkey. Is that what you
Okay.
said?
I don't remember, so I just got myself muted. Kanak, do you want to ask your question? Maybe.
First of all, hats off to you, sir, how you went on with your journey, and it is really inspiring. Actually, I am a kind of a person who overthink a lot on judgments, and I will be happy then only when someone comments or when someone appreciates. So,
Kanak, I think you need to check your mic. You're not audible clearly. So
No, but I heard. I'm being very, keenly listening to Kanak what you're saying, because it is a common issue right now. Yes, go on.
yeah, so I want a solution for that only. I just want to be a person like I'm happy who whatever I am doing. I don't want someone's appreciation on that, or I don't want anyone's saying good about it. Then only I feel happy. Yeah.
Got it. So how much do you love yourself, Kanak?
A lot.
A lot, really? That came with a lot of hesitation. A lot. If I say I don't love myself, am I going to be judged now? Am I not going to be liked more? Very honest. Oh yeah, you're there. Okay. Do you really, really love yourself? Do you love all your flaws? Do you accept all your flaws? Do you accept your goods? Do you accept your bads? Do you accept your uglies?
Not sure.
And that's okay. But that's why we need that extra validation from external validation from outside to make ourselves feel good, because we want to hide all our flaws and just put that extra filter so that we look beautiful, right? Everybody wants to do that. But when you remove that mask and when you stand in front of your mirror, are you okay with who you are? If you are, then you don't need external validation. If you're still looking for external validation, it is required because you need that boost, you need that, extra push. But for what? For what do you need that extra push? Is it to get better or just get more likes and comments and, yeah, everybody likes me, or before going to sleep, oh, I have 2,000 likes and 100, DMs, and everybody's like, oh, you're looking so gorgeous. You're looking so pretty. You're the woman of my dreams. If that's validation, then you need to really think through and understand, is that the right validation, and who is it helping? And is it for real? Because anything can be said virtual. LOL doesn't make any sense. You get to see a lot of people doing LOL, laughing my ass off. God knows how do they laugh their asses off, but they put that out there, right? But it doesn't mean anything, but it's virtual. Somebody else then comes back and puts that big smile. What does that mean to you? Is that fake? Is that real? Go back and really rethink. When you start really accepting yourself completely for who you are. Today, I'm accepting myself to be brown, bald, somebody who does not have hair on my head. I'm not looking for, external validation. And I'm not a clear-skinned person, but I'm actually okay with that. I'm hairy. All of that put together, I'm okay, chill. People like it. They don't like it, it's okay. It's absolutely fine. Do I need external validation? There are times when you want to show off and, you put those, thirsty trap pictures and all of that, but that's okay. But does that really mean that that is who you really want? That is what you really want? Just figure that out. It's a lot to process and a lot to think through, Kanak. I can't give you a solution per se, because you need to really unwrap a lot of things within yourself. Okay.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you, Suresh, for such a session, and I'm sorry for those whose questions we are not able to take.
I know.
But, I can promise you one thing, which could be a surprise for everyone out here, that we might have Suresh again with us. Don't worry about that. And we'll certainly have a lot of new learnings with Suresh. So just keep your things, meditate a bit, and don't worry, relax.
All right. All I can say for now is that you all can reach out to me on Instagram. I think, I'm just going to put my Instagram ID. I'm sending it to Vikram, so you can send it out to everybody.
Yes, I'll right away do that.
Just reach out and do that.
Yeah, if you have anything out there asking any questions,
concerns,
more than happy to do that. And apart from that, we'll have Suresh. Don't worry. So, party time. Thank you, Suresh.
All right.
Thanks from my end, and I think from everyone else as well, that you came, invested so much of your precious time, because I think time is money, money is time. And thank you. Thanks a lot.
That's all right. Thank you so much once again, everybody, for having me here, Vikram. Thank you. And whatever you all are doing, I think that's great work. You all survived 1 hour and 12 minutes with me talking a lot. I think that shows a commitment. I really appreciate it. And once again, thank you. And have a great rest of the day. Stay safe and be healthy. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Suresh. Bye.
Bye.